Well, I may disappoint, some of the people that are listening to us, but it was not part of a strategic vision and something that I had as a great leader, I had imagined since I was 5. No, I just, studied electronic engineering and did electronic engineering and did my first job as an engineer. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I was no good at it. And I tried to move to a more commercial kind of role. And that led me to move from a manufacturing engineering role in a plant at Procter& and Gamble to the European headquarter in a procurement job. And that's where I spent a number of years in procurement. And then, in this pursuit to even more commercial kind of roles, I thought that I wanted to work also in marketing. To give you a bit of perspective, at P&G, marketing was really, the best school in the world. So, if you are in marketing, then you're considered really elite. So I said, I would like to work in marketing. So I did an MBA, and then I ended up, moving to Novartis, first in procurement, and then I did the marketing. And as I did marketing, I realized that I was not that good at marketing. Well, I was good at managing suppliers, but I was not the most creative human being, and I didn't have much sensibility about, the right color, the right font, that didn't touch me very much. And so then I went back to procurement. But on top, as I made those kind of things, what's happened that I became an internal trainer. Inside the company, I started to learn the fundamental training on top of my job, just like this. And I enjoyed it. And maybe it was part of my DNA because my father was a teacher, my mom a teacher, my first sister a teacher, my second sister a teacher. My first sister was a fashion designer, but she was also teaching. So, me being an engineer, there was something wrong with that. So, as became an internal trainer inside the company. Then the first opportunity to teach happened in 2005. So it's now 21 years ago. And the University of Geneva was looking for somebody to teach negotiation in a master program for procurement. And they wanted somebody with real life experience. So I applied and I got the job. Then the year after, I started teaching at IMD and Bocconi. Then in 2008, I started teaching at INSEAD and London Business School. In 2009 at Oxford. And every year I was adding more schools while I continued to work. But, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, when I arrived to 11 business school in 2018, I just, couldn't cope anymore to have a job and a corporate job and to do the teaching piece. So I left the corporate world in 2018, became a professor in 2019. I also created my own company. The company is called CABL, and we specialize in negotiation and influence in training. And that's
Right.
where I made the change. But it really was a trial and error
Yeah.
kind of experience more than something that I had planned up front.
It's always interesting because when I look at my life and I look at the life of the people I work with, um, we're sold a story when we're younger that you need to plan where you want to be, and then you need to get the education in order to be able to get the right qualifications to go into industry, to go into employment, and we're sold this story that our life should be a linear set of data points that lead us to where we're going. And I haven't spoken to any guest in the last 2.5 years that tells me, yes, what I'm doing now is exactly what I wanted to do when I was 5. No, it's absolutely not the case. And so I like when you share this, when you connect the dots backwards, you kind of look and you realize um, one thing is clear is that I wanted to connect with people. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to teach people. That was clear. What you were going to teach was not clear. How you were going to teach, where you were going to teach was not clear. But the red thread that runs through is the fact that, yeah, you wanted to impart knowledge. So it's no accident that you're doing what you're doing today.